So let's imagine that you are heading up a sales team, and as part of the sales team, you've got to put together a script to sell a complex product. So it's a complex product and or it's a commodity-based product, which means that the level of competition that you'll have is challenging. So I want to walk you through with a practical example of what I would do to fundamentally sell or rather build a script in order to sell where you are the setter within a team. So you've got setters and then you've got closers and then you've got account managers. The setters are the people that set the appointment, the closers are the people that close the deals, and then the account managers are the people that then deal with everything post ultimately close, so fulfillment and then potentially ascension, retention. So these are the three buckets, broadly potentially four, depending upon how your sales team is mapped out. So if you're the sales director, if you're the person who's charged with building out a script and or you've been given a script and you're finding challenges because the script's not being effective, I want to go through some of the steps that I think are important when it comes to actually building out scripts. I'm going to give you the five key points. I'll storm through them and then we'll go into a practical example of that. And from there, we'll see how this training unfolds. So the first thing to do is to simplify, don't complexify, if you will. So whenever you're given a product that is complex, you need to distill it down to its simplest points. So busting through jargon and removing the level of technical detail in the beginning is absolutely key because those things can always be built up later. So it's always better to make pitches in general as simple as possible because it tends to be more easily cognitively understood. I use complicated words such as if you think about the complexities of the intricate nature of putting together this elevator pitch in conjunction, already you begin to lose people. Even if the message is the same, the method ultimately gets in the way of the delivery. So keeping it simple, stupid, KISS is actually really important. So you'll be often sometimes be given the jargon because the product engineers, the product people enjoy the complex features of the pitch, such as potentially in the example I'll give you, predictions, forecasting, modeling, but you need to simplify pitches and not complexify. I don't know if that's even a word, but that's point number one. Point number two is that the reason that you do that is you need to make the pitch initially appeal to the widest variety of people. Because the simplest pitch, the technical people will understand, the marketing people will understand, the salespeople will understand, management will, everyone will understand. So that's why you want to begin with simplicity and then you can build in complexity after. So don't begin when you're trying to, for example, justify price. Begin with a mathematical model for their perceived return on investment. You can say, look, this product is going to save you £150,000 a year. Let me explain how. But you begin with the simplest rung on the ladder. So people have a tendency to add in complexity, sometimes unwittingly, but actually you want to make the pitch appeal to the widest variety of people because then you'll always be safe no matter who picks up. Because even where you think you're calling decision makers, if you've got decision makers' phone numbers, maybe it's their personal assistant, their executive assistant. John's not here right now. How can I help? George is away from his desk. How can I help? Even if George is there, George is busy and George might be experiencing cognitive overload because he's got 101 things on his desk. So in talking to George technically, even where George is a technical person, sometimes in that moment, so it's always safe to keep it simple because then number two, you make the pitch appeal to the widest variety of people. Of course, when you make the pitch appeal to the widest variety of people, simplicity still needs to be understood. It's got to make sense. That's point number two. Point number three is you can get tactical post their initial response. So once people have replied, you can then gauge the level of complexity that you need to build in. And people often get this wrong because even where you see, for example, a chief information officer, and therefore you think you need to build in technical jargon into the vocabulary, what if it's their first day on the job? What if they're a CIO with actually really strong project management experience and they're the chief information officer simply because they can manage the personalities across the stern engineers and the people that fulfill hybrid roles, and their job is to make it work? What if I'm the CFO because I make the most sales, but actually I don't understand financial mathematical modeling? All I understand is how to bring in more business. So when you start talking to me about complex sales ratios, you lose me. That's why you can get tactical, absolutely, but post initial response. Because judging by the way that people respond, you can then determine what part of the pitch piqued their interest and what part of the product piques their engagement. And then based upon that, you can begin to build in jargon. The smartest decision makers typically want to know that you can keep it simple as well as building complexity later. It doesn't demonstrate intelligence to begin with really tactical angles, but to begin with the general benefit to the business in a stupid, simple format. So that's point number three. Point number four is do the read out loud test. When I read this pitch, does it actually make sense? Would it be something that I would say in an actual conversation, or does it literally read like a canned script? So what sometimes happens is that people build a script and it just doesn't pass what I call the read out loud test. And the read out loud test is literally, let me read this script out loud and how does it sound? And if it sounds tinned, canned, wooden, I probably need to build some energy into this script. And this is where role play becomes important, right? Because if you don't role play scripts and then you just try the script on the phone, you keep all of the woodenness in the script that comes with it. You need to build or take that away. So that's why pitch practice and role play is so important, and drilling is so important, because then you begin to understand how to build naturalness into the pitch. So rather than saying, good afternoon, Richard, I'm here to talk to you today, or I wanted to walk you through our product, it can then become instead, hey, Richard, how's it? Afternoon, Richard, how you doing? Yeah, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about. Do you see how they begin to become different? And the second one becomes a lot more conversational and something that you might say to someone, you know what, Deepak, I just want to tell you a little bit about this thing that I saw. Oh, you know what? And so that's where pitch practice, when it comes to fundamentally the product that you're selling, is so important. And you can only really determine how it's going to sound by reading it out loud and thinking, is this how I'd actually communicate with someone? The next point, and point number 5 in how to build out scripts, is bullet point. So this is where people get it wrong. Bullet points to start, scripts to finish. So start with bullet points. Distill it down into bullet points, because then you'll use your natural speech patterns to build it out into the actual script rather than the other way around. So what you want to do, and this is a cool hack that most people don't do, or cool trick or tip, is when you get your script, most people will build a script, they'll use AI, or they'll get an example, but actually what you want is a bullet points, and then you want to record yourself drilling it so you see how you actually say it and encapsulate it into the part of a normal conversation, and not the other way around, because then it starts with the woodenness, and it's sometimes difficult to extricate that, which is why it's more important to begin with some bullet points, and then once you drill it enough, you'll find that a script comes out of the bullet points that you have, and that's your script. Because you'll start to fill in the blanks with your natural language patterns, as opposed to beginning with a script where it feels very, very structured, very, very rigid, and it lacks a human element of it. So rather than starting with a script, start with the bullet points and then turn that into the script. So with that in mind, what we're going to do now is take a practical example of so what we're going to do in this example, it's an old client of ours, and we'll walk you through these points in context of the sticky notes that I've just made. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll get into it. So I'll share my screen here, and this is a draft pitch that we already have that was given to us that we've got, but let me just go through. These are the points we've got. Simplify, don't complexify. Okay, so first of all, we've got a client who's got ultimately a site with multiple solutions, as you can see. Algorithmic retailing, category management, media. So we've already got complexity baked in from the start. We've got a client with a complex series of solutions. Now, if you're the setter, keep in mind, your important role and goal is to build enough interest to get someone to have a conversation with the actual closer. So where you, for example, feel that you don't have the ability and or the time, and it can be a combination of either or, to learn every single facet of the actual technical details of the product, then you need to fall back upon building lots of rapport and focusing upon the commercial outcomes rather than struggling with the technical details. And sometimes people get this wrong. They want to learn every line item, but sometimes there's too many line items to learn. Now, if you're selling and if you're full-time as part of a company, then it's a different thing. Over a period of time, you take the time to learn every facet of their product, because then you can become a product expert. But when you're selling a rotating series of products, you don't have the time to learn every single element of it. That's not to say that you can't build buzzwords, but let's focus on simplicity to begin with. So the key thing is that retail profitability is the key outcome that we want to communicate within the context of a pitch. So already we've got fundamentally the key thing that we need to optimize for, which is what is the end goal of using retail products, Retail Express's series of products, is to make the retail company more money. And that's something that'd be easily understood by anybody. So if we go ahead and have a look at the draft picture that's been built for us, let's take a look at it. What we see here already is fundamentally jargon, advanced solutions, tailored, unique challenges. I've changed it to example express. I probably shouldn't have because I was going to take out their name. Let's just go ahead and replace example with retail. Perfect. Hopefully that fixes it. So again, hi, this is Frank from Retail Express. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. So again, think about the read out loud test. You would never say that in person. You might say, "Hey, this is Frank here from Retail Express. Hope your day's going well. Hope you're having a good day." But you wouldn't typically use the word wonderful in general day-to-day language. You might not even say, "I hope you're having a wonderful day so far." You might just cut straight to the bit. "Hey, it's Richard here calling from Retail Express. Look, the reason I was calling you today is because..." So if you think about this, you wouldn't even probably say that to anybody that you know. You might say, "Oh, hey, how's your day going?" But you wouldn't say it the first time you speak to someone when, if you think about context, you have limited time to talk to that person. People know that you're not interested in whether they're ha having a wonderful day. People know that it's a filler. And people that are busy typically don't have the time to reply to, "Yeah, how's your day going?" "Yeah, yeah, it's good, man. Let's get on with it. Let's crack on. Time is money." So thinking about it in in that context, you can go through a pitch and begin to rebuild it. But let's this is the pitch that's been built. And again, if we think about advanced solutions, platform integrates pricing, promotions, vendor negotiations through a single interface, making it, it's lots of jargon here, lots of jargon here. What we want to focus upon is the key. We have a software tool that time and time again, because we've got case studies, has been proven to increase your retail profitability. So what I want to do is to organize a call with one of our product management specialists to walk you through exactly how we do that. We've been doing it for companies just like yours. Now, there's a range of ways that we do this, but I am almost certain that if you had to have a call with our team, you'd walk away with a series of strategies and tactics that we could employ that be designed to make your retail chains much, much more profitable. We basically look at what you're already spending money for on ads and pricing, and we dramatically improve the returns that you're getting. So imagine having a tool and a team that can say, without you lifting a finger, Frank, we're going to have a look at your entire suite of ads that you're running, because as we can look, they've got pricing and promotion, optimization. So this is potentially a function of ads, algorithmic retailing. But the headline here is retail profitability. That's actually the headline. And that's what we want to optimize for. And what we're doing when we say the word imagine, we're simplifying. If we go back to our framework, so simplify. So the word imagine focuses also on benefits rather than features. As soon as you say imagine, of course, it's just counterintuitive to say, imagine a algorithmic retailing tool that could drive an innovative return for your company. It'd be a ridiculous fucking thing to say. Because when you talk about imagination, you optimize for outcomes. So imagine is a good word because you focus on the benefit and you build in the benefit statement into the actual introduction itself, because everyone wants to optimize for the outcome. And if we think about it, why are we doing this? For those of you who've watched some of my previous training, the why is because I want the outcome. I want the benefit. The features then are details. I'm optimizing for the outcome. So when you use the word imagine, and then when we talk about retail profitability, if you wanted to, you could simplify it even further and say, we have a tool that will help your retail stores make a boatload more money. We're going to make you like massively more profitable. And where you think that, can I use those words? Ask your end client or ask your sales director, your product manager. Is it fair to say that we can make them massively more profitable? Is that something that I could technically get away with saying? Or significantly more? Or a lot more? Yeah, you probably, and where you can, already you're speaking the right language to the widest variety of people, and we're staying away from areas within which you can stumble. So as soon as you start talking about intelligent merchandising, supplier collaboration, you're going to lose the people who sign the checks. And the people who sign the checks are typically the people that you want to optimize for. Now, again, remember, we did say that you want to get tactical post initial response. And absolutely, it's important to have some knowledge of these areas. But if you're the setter, meaning that you're setting up the appointment, what you're optimizing for is giving them a vision of the dream outcome and then only giving them hints of some of the features. Look, I don't have all of the time to discuss it on the call today, but we look at areas such as AI merchandising, pricing and promotion optimization, real-time collaborative planning, algorithmic retailing, supplier collaboration, category management. I can't go through all of the details. There's just so much that we do, but that's why it's so important that I connect you with Richard. He's our product whiz, and he's going to walk you through everything. And I promise you, Frank, I promise you, buddy, if you take the time, 15 minutes in your diary, it's all I'm asking for today, you're going to get the returns that you're looking for. So notice my tonality with how I'm saying things. This is an important part of it. Notice how I'm being so simple in what I'm trying to communicate. And I'm almost underlining that I'm not the guy that you need to ask about the features, but I'm the guy that's important because I'm telling you these are the benefits. And it's built into the tone with which I'm saying it. And you notice that the ask is all I'm asking for is 15 minutes to change your life. That's all I'm asking for. Do you have 15 minutes to show how I can make you look like a hero in your company? So these are the areas that become important. And then subsequent to that, they say, well, how does it work? And then you can say, I don't have time to go through everything on this call, but let me give you a snippet, okay? And if this doesn't excite you, man, oh man, or my oh my, we look at intelligent merchandise. And then again, you rattle off all of the solutions if you want to get tactical. And there's even more. But that's exactly why I think we need to set up this call. I mean, saying this stuff out loud just gets me excited. Call me a big kid. Call me a bit of a geek because some of the stuff these guys do just blows my mind. But I see that you're the chief information officer, Richard. So they're going to speak your language, my friend. My goal is to get you as excited as I am on this call, and then to get you into the call with the technical guys, and they're going to walk you through everything. Yeah, but Deepak, we use, and let's let you know that there might be other questions. Does it integrate with strong supplier engagement? Yeah, absolutely. Yes, yes, yes to everything. If you've got the right prospect in front of you, then you just say yes. Yes, it can. Probably we can. I'm pretty confident we can. The team will confirm, but I'm very confident that we can. So let's just get you into that call. No one is going to remember. No one is going. It's far better to have someone excited about a call, and then for them to later be disqualified, rather than for them to be shown to, or for you to reply neutrally and then lose the call. So the key is, because that's a much better setup. It's better to get a knockback from your sales director or your CEO or the managing director by saying, you know what, George, we actually don't do that. Instead of you saying to the prospect, I'm not sure that we do that. And then you lose the prospect. It's better to go back to the prospect and say, you know what, Frank, I said we do this thing with Oracle or this integration. As it turns out, that's on our pipeline. So you know what? Oh, we're not a good fit right now. No problem. Let's catch up in 3 months. So it's always better to, when you do get tactical, to then take it away afterwards when you're in a position where you're unsure of the reply to that question. Does it do X? Does it do Y? I'm pretty confident we do. My product management specialist will confirm. I'm really confident that we do. Of course, it always pays to know the specifics where it comes down to drilling and knowing the script and knowing the features. And don't get me wrong, these things are important. And as you build up the nature of the objections, you should have potentially a document that you can read from. But this is in a time-pressured environment where you don't have access to all of the detailed technical nature of the product. And then you can revert to, if you do have the answers to the question, saying, that's an amazing question, George. Let me just have a look, because I've got a series of answers for some of the technical questions that sometimes I get asked. Let me just have a look. So your question was about this integration. According to the list I have here, yeah, actually, you know what? We do it. The details of it, again, I'm going to talk you back. So you can build up the person they're going to be onto the sales call with. Man, I can't wait until you talk to Linda. She knows everything there is to know about this product. Man, yeah, Deepak, what about XYZ integration and this man, this is why I gotta get you into a call with George. Man, George knows this stuff inside out, brother. I'm telling you, George is gonna be your guys. This is exactly why. So sometimes you can have a default ultimately reply, which is where again we talk about the read out loud test. What am I doing right now? I'm actually doing a version of the read out loud test based upon a script that I've hypothetically built right in front of you. And rather than if we return to the script, and these are scripts that might be given by your team, might be given to your company, when you sell the benefits rather than the features, how does it work? Well, our system uses AI to help predict and manage pricing and promotions. Suddenly, people might feel deflated on the call because it doesn't sound that special anymore. Suddenly they say, "Oh, okay, suddenly when people don't really understand the full impact of the features, you get a is that it coming out. You get a is that it feeling in their reply. Oh, is that what you do? Is that what you do? Whereas if you stack features, how do you rank clients on Google? Well, there's a whole series of things that we can do. But just to give you a snippet of it, we work on technical SEO, we work on-page content refinements, we work on improving your server structure, have the list, rattle through the list, and then collectively the features can feel like they are a huge packet of value. And that's the way that you can use features when people ask that, how does it work? So if you follow these steps as we discussed, number one, simplify, don't complexify. Build in the word imagine. Imagine I could give you XYZ outcome. If you then build in making the pitch appeal to the widest net of people within an organization, if you then, number three, get tactical post initial response. So that's where the tactics come in based upon the initial reply to your pitch. And again, this is for the setters, right? So you're not getting heavily involved with the technical details of the product. The goal is to build excitement, build interest, and then pass it on. Build excitement, build interest, and then pass it on. So you need to have statements like, you know what, that sounds really interesting. Absolutely. Oh, wow. Is that how it works? Okay, well, you know what? I don't know that I understand, Deepak, but you're so excited about this damn thing. I guess I've got to see it. It's like, you know what? I don't get it. It doesn't sound like you get it, but I get your excitement and I get that you're saying it can make me a lot of money. So I get it. Let's do the call. Let's do the call. So you can often use energy, tonality, and whoa, imagine, dude, this is going to change your freaking life, man. Like, I promise you. Too few salespeople say that. I don't know why you don't say that. Because most of your competition aren't, especially if you're British, because most British people are like, we've got a tool that can help you generate amazing returns on investment on your AI. It's so fucking boring. It's boring, guys. It's like boring. It's like, bro, I'm about to change. Like, George, I'm about to change your life. What? What? It's going to get someone's attention. So excitement is a big part that sits underneath this, which is where you need to practice. So have your bullet points once you've gone through the read out loud test. But I mean, to a degree, it's back to front. But bullet points to start, the key features, a couple of the key features, the benefits, and then practice building the script out. And soon enough, you'll have scripts that will become so much more effective than whatever current method you're using. If you follow these steps, you're going to have a totally different outcome when it comes to setting appointments on a regular basis.